Welcome to Indian Driving Rules, an online training program based on Indian rules and regulations. Consider this as an advanced road safety course and the first of its kind in India. So, what have you heard so far about road safety? Wear helmet, wear seatbelt, don't drink and drive, and a few other stuff, maybe on social media. And you probably heard this very often, follow the rules. But what are the rules? Where do you find them and what is in them? Well, where do you find them is easy because we've summarized all that for you in this course. And there's plenty of stuff not taught by any driving school or other organizations which you'll find here in a very structured manner. For example, do you know the following important rules and concepts like MSM, PSL, blind spots, right of way, 2-second following distance, stopping distance, how inertia affects a vehicle at turnings, lane discipline, defensive driving, solid white line. There are many, many like this, and these are all life saving techniques if you know them. I mean, life saving rules if you learn them. Let's just talk about solid white line. A solid white line is normally found on undivided roadways at curves which are blind curves where you cannot see the traffic coming from the opposite direction. You should never cross a solid white line and go to the other sides, or you can get yourself into a very dangerous accident, as you will see in the next slide. So, as you can see, learning the rules is useful and necessary to be safe on the roads. Fundamentally, Indian driving rules are defined in these two regulations, which is one is the Central Motor Vehicle Rules called CMVR of 1989, and the other is the more recent Motor Vehicle Driving Regulation, also called MVDR of 2017. Now, these two rules are applicable to all types of vehicles such as two-wheelers, three-wheelers, four-wheelers, buses, cars, anything. You just have to adapt some of these rules based on the type of vehicle that you're driving. Now, before we go any further, let's try to understand the big picture of road safety so you know all the players that are involved in road safety. So, right at the bottom is driver education and theory, which is every driver's responsibility and duty. The second level is driving practice, that you can enroll into a driving school or have a experienced adult teach you how to drive, on the side roads without too much traffic. Don't try to learn from a youngster because they may not know the rules themselves. So it's the blind leading the blind, you know what I mean? So the third level is like, they should be safe road design, lane marking, signals, all that stuff. And that's the responsibility of the government, and that comes under the municipal corporation. So if you see a bad road or something wrong with the roads, complain to the GHMC, like the municipal corporation. Then the fourth level is the driver's license testing, which is done by the RTA, Road Transport Authority of India, and they do the tests and then they issue you the license. Finally, if you make a mistake on the road, that's when the traffic police comes in. So the traffic police is normally blamed for a lot of problems, but actually their role is very limited in this. Another view of road safety is the four E's as presented by MARTH, which is the Ministry of Roads, Transports and Highways. In that, they talk about first one being the education, which is driver education on rules and regulations, which is what this course is going to provide you. And the second E is enforcement, the police, as we talked. Third E is engineering, road design, we talked about that too. And the fourth E is emergency services, so that if you do get into an accident, the timely emergency service of getting the injured to a hospital can help save lives. All right, a little bit now about us, who we are, the presenters. There are two of us here. There's Malcolm Wolf, my partner, and he's a Indian Air Force retired squadron leader. He's a pilot. He also served in the UK police force, and he's very experienced in traffic management and road rules. He presently runs an NGO called Roadcraft and a driving school based out of Hyderabad. And Naresh Raghavan is myself. I'm a mechanical engineer and an MBA. And I've driven cars and motorcycles in over 8 countries. And I'm certified in defensive driving courses in the USA in both four wheelers and in two wheelers. And together, both of us are trying to bring all our international experience and our knowledge of Indian rules into this course to make it easy for you. So, together between Malcolm and me, we have published books on driving rules. The first one is the Car Driving School Manual for India. It's based on CMVR 1989 and MVDR 2017. We also translated that into Hindi and Telugu so we can reach a wider audience. And these books are available on Amazon and Flipkart. Do check it out if you want to know more about the rules and regulations along with color pictures. It's an interesting read. So our books have been launched by top dignitaries such as like the Transport Minister of Telangana, Mr. Ajay Kumar Puvada, DGP Road Safety, IAS, IPS officers, police commissioners, RTA officials. So in short, we know this stuff and we can help you learn it easily. Well, I hope you're convinced now that why you need to learn the rules. And we want to tell you that our course is structured around the MORTH guidelines for new drivers. MORTH is the Ministry of Roads, Transports and Highways. That's a governing body of India. So according to them, every new driver should take 27 hours of training spread over 4 weeks, which consists of 7 hours of theory and 20 hours of driving practice. Totally 27 hours. So the 7 hours of theory, that's where this course comes in. And as you can see, the syllabus they have prescribed is again the CMVR 1989 Rule 31 and parts of A, B, C, F, G, and K. And that's really the foundation of our course. So it's 100% in accordance with MORT guidelines. Now, some people feel that 7 hours, that's a lot of time to invest in learning about driving rules. And so we just wanted to say if we compare it to Western countries like USA and Australia and UK, Germany, all these places, they have even more stringent hours, like 40 hours, 120 hours. In the USA, in some states, it's compulsory included as a subject in your 12th grade. So you go through it for like 6 months. So that's the reason why you see in so many of the Western countries, the traffic is a lot more organized and everybody follows the rules because everybody knows the rules. So compared to all such kind of 40 hours and 120 hours and probation for like 6 months and so on, MORTH guidelines of 7 hours is very reasonable. And I would say you should spend that much at least to make sure that you know the rules and are safe on the road. So the following is the overall course design of this driving rules course. We're right now on the introduction module. And then after that, we'll actually get into the real details. There are 6 modules and each of them will take you about 30 minutes to do. You can pause it and come back, but see if you can do one module at a shot so that you'll have the continuity of the related subject matter. And each of those modules covers the rules as defined by the Indian CMVR, Central Motor Vehicle Rules of 1989. And also towards end, you'll find a lot of defensive driving techniques from international research. Now, what is covered in each of these modules? This is just an overview. Like we talked about, what is MSM, PSL, lane discipline, and defensive driving, and so many other things. And we'll talk to you a little more in detail about each of those topics, along with educational videos. And so, as you can see, there are several rules one needs to learn to be a safe and law-abiding driver in India. And remember the old Latin phrase which says ignorantia juris non excusat? I don't know Latin, but what it means is that ignorance of the law is not an excuse. So, not knowing the rules, you get into an accident, you could get into some serious legal complications which will trouble you for a long, long time. So learn the rules, follow them, and be a model citizen. So we will give you a small sneak peek into our course in terms of how we try to organize the content to make you understand it easier. And this, for instance, is an example of a roadway. What is the definition of a roadway? There are about three sections to it. One is the pavement, which is also called sidewalk or footpath, which is elevated, and that's where people walk. And then there is the main roadway or the carriageway, which is where the vehicles ply on. Between the pavement and the roadway, there is a narrow band called the shoulder, separated by a solid white line, as you can see. And the shoulder is an area of the roadway you should not drive on. It may be used for parking if permitted, and sometimes pedestrians walk on it too, but vehicles should never drive on that. On the next slide, you will see the video of a cow blocking the left side of a rural roadway in UK. That's an undivided roadway with a double yellow line in the center. Double yellow line is like an invisible wall. It should not be crossed at all. And you will see that over 100 cars are backed up on the left side of the roadway, but no one crosses the double yellow line to overtake the cow or the other cars in front. That is an incredible level of traffic discipline, and hopefully, we will get there someday. With this, we come to the end of the introduction. Remember, knowledge of rules is compulsory to be a good driver, and knowledge is safety for you for a lifetime. Please proceed to Module 1 and get started on this exciting journey of learning the road rules.